Everybody screams no snitching, but nobody ever tells you when that rule actually stops applying. Right now, there's a conversation going around involving Gucci Man and Pooh Shiesty. Allegations, rumors. Everybody screams no snitching, but nobody ever tells you when that rule actually stops applying, y'all. See, right now there's a conversations going around involving Gucci Man and Pooh Shiesty, robbery, allegations, rumors, conversations. But let me be clear, we're not here to report rumors. We're here to break something down deeper than that, man. When is it actually snitching and when is it just reality? See, a lot of individuals don't really understand that, and there's a role that's being played, but we have to decide and understand when we are going through those roles. So let's speak hypothetically. You got people from the same circle, same background, same environment, and then something goes wrong. Now the real question becomes, do you stay silent? Do you speak up? Do you protect yourself? Or do you protect the code? And here's the truth, and this is where many people get stuck at, right? Because they don't understand what role they're in. The answer depends on what world you're operating in, y'all. That's the piece. There's a transition going on for some individuals, and we don't even understand that. We got to see that clearly. So now let me make something very clear before we even go deeper. And I said I wanted to get clear. I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong. I'm not condoning anything. I'm explaining the roles, the environments, the consequences. Because most people never make this mental shift. I had to make it, and I had to understand it. There's a difference between street code, civilian code, and corporate code. And when you move from one world to another, your code is supposed to change with it. And that's the rule nobody's telling you about. The problem is most people change environments, right? They change their environment, wherever it is that they go, but never update their mindset. See, you can change people, places, and things, but if you don't change here, you bring who you are to where you go. So let's start with the streets, y'all. The streets has its own constitution. No paperwork, no contracts, just rules. And the number one rule, we all know that, no snitching. No telling on nobody. Now understand this clearly, y'all. If you are part of that lifestyle, even if you are not directly involved, you are still bound by that code, which means you say something or you saw something, you stay quiet. You know something, you stay quiet. You're connected, stay quiet. Because the moment you speak, you violated the agreement of that world. And people don't see that. But see, in that world, when you violate it, there are consequences for that. And dudes are jumping off the porch too early to understand that these consequences come. Why we got an all-time level of ratting right now, snitching. But now let's shift, y'all. Because this is where confusion destroys people. Civilians are not street participants. So they are not bound by the rules. If you are living a legal life, working, raising your family, building, and then, I don't know, something happens, honestly speaking, in that civilian code, you're expected to report it. And that's not snitching. We know that. That's their responsibility. That's participation in society. So when civilians speak, they're not breaking the code. They're actually operating within their code. That's what they're supposed to be doing, y'all. So your neighbor, the old lady picking out the window, all that, that's not snitching. She's a civilian. Individuals who turns your life around. Tax-paying person. You are a citizen now. So now let's elevate it again. I want to go to corporate, and this is where this topic goes in: business, structured systems. And in this world, this is what y'all don't get. Snitching becomes whistleblowing. And in many cases, it's fucked up as it sounds, it's not just accepted, it's protected. The job in that area is you report misconduct, you report fraud, you report illegal behavior. This can lead to what? Promotions, legal protection, even a reward. Same action, different fucking world, different consequences. That's what's going on here. So let's break it down and get to the real conflict. And I think this is a very important piece we need to touch on. Now, people crash out mentally, right? They leave the streets and then they keep the street code. They enter these new environments, right? These recording labels and things like that, and still operate with the old rules. That creates for them confusion, bad decisions, legal consequences, internal conflict, Pooh, Shiesty, Gucci man, because now you're stuck asking something. Am I being loyal or am I hurting myself? Am I hurting myself? Nah, I'm not doing that. So there has to be a transition that needs to be made, and let's break it down. Applying street loyalty in legal situations, protecting people who wouldn't protect you, not recognize your environment changed, not, yeah. Thinking silence equals strength in every setting. I'd rather be with 2, 3 wolves. But that's how people lose everything, y'all. And I'd rather be with 3 or 4 solid dudes than 20 sheep. And that's important. So here's the part I don't think anybody is teaching. And this is where you got to understand you actually have a choice. But the awareness has to come first. See, you need to ask yourself, and this is where we got to self-check, self-evaluate. Am I operating in the street world? Am I operating as a civilian, or am I operating in business? Because each one comes with a different code. And once you understand that, you can make a decision conscious or a conscious decision to stay in street code, shift to civilian code, elevate the corporate code. But you cannot mix them blindly, y'all. See, that's where people destroy themselves. They mixing and matching. They don't know how to let go of one or don't know what hat to put on in them spaces. They don't know. They still want to be street dude at a job. But here's the personal accountability I want you, because at some point, we have to take, or you have to take responsibility for that position. What world am I really living in? Because your code has to match your reality. See, I'm a businessman, and if something happens to my business, calling the police. That's not snitching, man. That's protecting my assets. That's protecting my investment. So I'm going to leave y'all with this, and please let me leave you with this. If you change your environment, but didn't change your code, you didn't realize, or you didn't even evolve. All you did was just relocate. This ain't about snitching, y'all. This is about awareness. This is about knowledge of self. This is about growth. This is about survival at the highest level. Because you will shift if you trying to change. So I want y'all to tap in with Free Facts Media, man. Free Facts Media. This is where we at. We don't just talk about what's happening, though, y'all. We break it down and why it's happening and perspective and mindset behind it. And if we have this idea or concept in these rules to identify where are we at in them things. Am I a street? Am I applying the street code? Am I a street dude at this moment? Am I a civilian at this moment? Am I being a businessman at this moment? And I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. Like, this shit, it hit me one day a while ago. You know, I've been home for a while now, catering to the youth and things of that nature, working. And I was talking to but I still lived in the hood. And I was talking to my man. And I'm like, yeah. Yo, I'm still a street nigga. I still got the street nigga inside of me. And what he told me was, bruh, you a taxpaying citizen. You working with kids. You changing lives. Nah, you're not a street dude no more. You're a civilian. Pay taxes. And I still have a struggle with that too, because there's times I'm like, damn, I wanna, wow, I got kids outside, these dudes riding around speeding, stolen cars. I be wanting to do, but yet again, here it is. There's a moral dilemma there. So I don't call. But what I do, I jump out there and say, yo, listen, you can't do that. But then again, I involve myself in something else. Because I'm telling somebody what to do. I'm checking them on something. So now I'm becoming authority? Nah. So we got to figure out which role we're in, y'all. Because if you do something to me in my business and it's going to hurt my business, the report is being filed. That's what business is for. I have to protect my investment, my assets. You go and break in my store and book jukes me or whatever the fuck in my business, there's a report being filed. I'm claiming insurance. I'm doing I'm going the legal way. Yes. So I think we need to understand that Gucci might just be in businessman role. See, it's good to vacillate back and forth and have that knowledge and be able to do that. I ain't gonna hold you. I do it all the time. But that's where the moral dilemma happens. You bring street code into your job, you're fired. Honestly, in your job, if you do your job very well, there's somebody gunning for your spot. And the moment you make a mistake, such and such did such and such, actual fact, you get written up. He takes your position. You stuck on not snitching on him, not mopping the floors, whatever the fuck it is. He snitched on you, he got your position. See, right then and there, that code really don't apply here because in corporate America, that 9 to 5 snitching is okay. Somebody is going to step on your shit to get your spot. That's what it is. Crab in a barrel mentality, y'all. Shit go like that in the streets too. And honestly, let's keep it a buck. The street code gone. It's gone. So I'm saying all this to say this, y'all. I'm not condoning snitching. And I'm not condoning if you did snitch. What I am saying is know your fucking role. Where you at in it. Because that's where the lines are getting blurry. It's where it's confusion happening at. Look, respect y'all. I'm grown. We all growing. And this is where it's at. Know your role. Have that awareness of where you are, who you are, and who you be. Because all of those are going to end up who and what you become. So salute y'all. Free Facts Media. If you like this, subscribe to this channel, man. Like this button. This is a touchy topic, and I know it's hitting a lot of people. And I know some people ain't even going to see my light, but what it is. If you like this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, man. It's pure discipline here, daily motivation, and we break down things in perspective so we can see things differently over in this channel here, y'all. So salute, like, subscribe, hit the bell button for the notifications, man, and we lit. This is Free Facts Media, and we out of here. Salute. Did it record? Everybody screams no snitching, but nobody ever tells you when that rule actually stops applying. Right now, there's conversations going around involving Gucci Man, Pooh, Shiesty, allegations, rumors, conversations. But let me be clear, y'all. We're not here to report rumors. We're here to break down something deeper than that. When is it snitching? And when is it just reality, y'all? I'm not condoning none of this shit. I'm not condoning the snitching. I'm not doing none of it. But I want to wake y'all up to something that we need to see, especially those that's entering and changing their tax bracket. So let's speak hypothetically. You got people from the same circle, same background, same environment, and then something goes wrong. I don't know what that is, but something goes wrong. Now, the real question becomes, do you stay silent Do you speak up? Do you protect yourself? Or do you protect the code? And here's the truth, y'all. The answer depends on what world you are operating in. Deep, right? A transition happens, things happen, you shift, and roles and descriptions, they change. The rules change. So let me make something very clear before we even go deeper, because yet again, the rules change. I'm not here to tell you what's right. I ain't here to tell you what's wrong. I'm not condoning anything. I'm explaining roles, environments, consequences. Because most people never make this mental shift, and I had to make it myself. Because there's a difference between street code, civilian code, and corporate code. And when you move from one world to the other, your code is supposed to change with it. It's logic. The problem is most people change environments but never update their mindset. See, you can take who you are and change people, places, and things, but you're gonna still take who you are to those places, people, and things if you don't shift your mindset. So I'm gonna start with the streets, man. Let's start there. The streets has its own constitution. It's nothing written. There's no paperwork. There's no contracts. It's just rules. And the number one rule is no snitching, no ratting, telling, whatever the fuck you call it. But I need y'all to understand this clearly. If you are a part of that lifestyle, even if you're not directly involved, you are still bound by that code. Deep, right? See, that means you saw something, you know something, you're connected, stay quiet. Because the moment you speak, you violated the agreement of that world, man. And in that world, there are consequences for that. Things have changed, so it's not as much consequences anymore, but that's the real rap. That's the foundation of the street constitution, the unwritten rules. So I'm going to shift now into the other one, because this is where confusion destroys people. Civilians are not street participants. So they're not bound by the street rules. And many of us know that already, but I'm going to reiterate it. If you are living a legal life, working, raising your family, building, and then something happens, you're expected to report it. And that's not snitching. That's responsibility, y'all. And what that's also like the participation of how it goes in society. So when civilians speak, they're not breaking the code. They're really not. They're operating within their code. And it's for us to identify with shit like that, especially those that's in the street. All right, let's go into corporate. Let's see. I don't know corporate. Let me make up. I don't know, some type of business or something. But even like people don't understand corporations, business. They all still structured systems. Y'all hear me talk about systems a lot. They're all structured systems. But in this world, snitching becomes what we call, or what we've heard of before, whistleblowing. And in many cases, not only is it accepted, it's protected. See, you report misconduct in that world. You report fraud in that world. You report illegal behavior in that world. That can lead to promotions, legal protection, financial reward, so on and so forth. But it's the same action, different world, different consequences. And we have to know and understand them roles, because a lot of guys are shifting from street life going into civilian, but a lot are trying to go into corporate. And you got to understand these rules, or you're gonna get caught up just like Pooh in this Gucci situation. But now here's where people crash out at mentally. They leave the streets, but then keep the streets codes. Then enter new environments, but operate with the old code. That creates confusion, bad decisions, legal consequences, internal conflict. Because now you're stuck asking something. Am I being loyal, or am I hurting myself? It's a real question. It's tough, y'all. But yeah, Gucci's in that corporate code. So let me break it down. One, applying street loyalty in legal situations, protecting people who wouldn't protect you, not recognizing your environment change, um, thinking silence equals strength in every setting. You know what? That's how people lose everything. See, you got to remember, not every mold is fit to fit every situation. It's not a cookie cutter, y'all. And you got to learn what space you're operating in. But here's the part I want to give that nobody's really teaching, because really you have a choice. You have a choice. And I want you guys to know that. Everybody has a choice. But before you make the choice, you need to have awareness. You need to ask yourself a few questions. Am I operating in the street world? Am I operating as a civilian? Am I operating in business? Because the real is each one comes with a different code. And once you understand that, you can make conscious decisions to whether you want to stay in the street code, elevate the corporate code. But the one thing you can't do is mix them. And that's where our people go wrong. You mix them blindly. That's where they destroy themselves. That's where they fuck up their careers at. Can't do that, man. Know your role. So at some point, people have to take responsibility for their position. They have to ask themselves, what world am I really living in? Because your code, it has to match your reality, y'all. Being like, it's real. You got to know where you stand at. So I'm going to leave y'all with this, and I probably might even keep rambling, but I'm going to leave y'all with this message for sure. If you change your environment but didn't change your code, you didn't evolve. All you did was just relocate. This ain't about snitching, y'all. This is about awareness. This is about growth. This is about survival at its highest level. Tap in with me, man. Tap in with Free Facts Media, man. Because what we do over here, we just don't talk about what's happening, y'all. We break it down on why it's happening and give you guys a different perspective. See, this perspective is needed right now. Our brothers, our young brothers is incarcerated at a high level. You know, even with Gucci Man and Pooh. Like Pooh, you know you in business mode, man. So if you in the business world, you handle business accordingly, according to that code, man. You done bought all kind of street, and I get it. Gucci a street dude. I don't think so. No, matter of fact, I don't think so. He ain't a street dude no more. He's a tax-paying citizen. He's not even just a civilian. He's a CEO, man. Straight up. So I don't understand what dude's expecting this man to do when he's operating in the CEO code, man. What y'all want him to do? Go back to street code, body him, lose his career? No, come on. Think, man. This is how individuals, excuse my language, this is how individuals immerse out of the hood, make something for themselves, still carrying that ethic in that code and them rules in this corporate, and then blow it, bro. Fuck up a whole empire. Something they worked so hard for. Because of one thing, they didn't have awareness of when to shift hats, shift roles. Because the codes change, y'all. I had to do it. I had to understand it. One of my mans, yo, we was having a conversation, and I'm outside, man. And at that time, I was living in the hood. My block was hard, man. Forget about it. So I'm on the porch, and I'm just basking in the ambiance, reminiscing. Sometimes, you know, I want to that guy comes out of me, and I want to be in that moment because I miss it. I love it. I ain't gonna hold you. I just ain't willing to deal with the consequences no more. Put my kids through that shit. But he said something to me, man. We was talking about the events going. I was like, man, he's like, why are you standing outside like that? I said, I'm a street nigga, man. I'm a street dude, like that. And he bought me, and he paused for a second. He said, yo, you ain't no street dude. You are a taxpaying citizen. You are a behavioral assistant to kids. You are a substance abuse counselor to adults. You are the CEO of a mentoring program. It bought me. And that's when I got it. Know your role. Know what world you operating in. And that's for all of us, y'all, because many of us is going to make the transition sooner or later, hopefully. And when you make that transition, you have to have this type of knowledge. You got to know where you're operating from, y'all. So salute, man. That's what I got today. If you like what's going on in the messaging here, please hit the like button. If you like this motivational and different perception and different mindset and dissecting things differently, subscribe to the channel. Free Facts Media, we here. Hit the like button. I told y'all that. Notifications, man. If you want, hit the bell button for the notifications and all that. But this is Free Facts Media, man. We here. We're here to bring some truth. We're here to bring power. We're here to bring facts. Facts. Salute, y'all. Peace.